enthusiasm is affecting everybody here. I can't have that on this team. Well, Frank pleaded his case, asked for another chance, and the manager gave him a few more days. Well, from that day onward, Frank was nothing but vigorous enthusiasm and encouragement, always upbeat and positive, cheering on others when they made a good play. Now, most of the players thought it was all fake. It was just a way to keep his job. But day after day, Frank was consistent, even in the locker room. His enthusiasm became contagious. And not only did he keep his job, but the team began to do better as well. 2 years later, he worked his way into the majors with the St. Louis Cardinals, becoming the spark plug of the team and playing third base. Unfortunately, an arm injury later that year ended his brief baseball career. So he started selling life insurance for the Fidelity Mutual Life Insurance Company. But he was not very successful initially and considered quitting after 10 months. And during a moment of reflection, what a coincidence, he remembered what his baseball manager told him about his lack of enthusiasm. So he made a commitment to himself to start acting enthusiastically in his insurance presentations. Well, about that time, coincidentally, he met another successful salesman who took his advice to read the autobiography of Benjamin Franklin, in which Franklin outlines his technique for asking key questions to overcome objections when presenting a proposal. Well, Frank liked the book, he tried it, and he began to perfect this technique with great enthusiasm. Well, Frank became the top salesman for the next 20 years with Fidelity Mutual. He met Dale Carnegie, what a coincidence, who encouraged him to write a book about his success, and he did. How I Raised Myself from Failure to Success in Selling. It became a bestseller, was translated into over a dozen languages and sold in countries all around the world. Later, he began giving a series of lectures to JC organizations nationwide with Dale Carnegie. His book and his experience formed the cornerstone of the positive thinking movement that was so popular in the 50s and 60s and still sells books today. Frank's innate skill and ability was never a question. It was all about the passion that he felt, the words that he used, and the enthusiasm that he projected. May McCarthy says it this way: when we add emotions to words and thoughts, we create a powerful force that makes us magnetic to that about which we are speaking, thinking, and feeling. You get to choose where you put your focus. You get to choose what you will receive. Choose to focus on what you want with enthusiasm, and you'll get it. Jesus said something very similar. If you do not doubt in your heart, but believe that what you say will come to pass, it will be done for you. So I tell you, whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it, and it will be yours. So how do we find that positive emotion? It's all about how you choose your words. Remember Don Miguel Ruiz, the 4 agreements? Be impeccable with your words. Speak with integrity. Say only what you mean. Avoid using the word to speak against yourself or to gossip about others. Use the power of the word in the direction of truth and love. So given any particular situation in your life, how you phrase your thoughts is important. May McCarthy gives an example. She says, we speak with emotion all the time, often without noticing how it's affecting our lives. We are either speaking for what we want or speaking for something we don't want. Either will manifest in our life as we vibrate to it through our speech and emotions. For example, she points out, I could say, I wish I didn't arrive late for my appointments. Or, I always arrive on time for my appointments. Say each one of these statements out loud and notice how you feel about saying each one of them. One is positive and higher energy, and one is negative and lower energy. We have the power to change our speech to be more positive and higher energy. In doing so, we will become a magnet to those things that vibrate at a higher energy level. It's a way to focus less on what you don't want and more on what you do want. We've got some pretty educated people here, and for those of you who are good with math, there's the concept of an absolute number. Anybody know what I'm talking about? Few head nods, okay. An absolute number is a number without a positive or negative sign. It's just the number. The universe works in absolute terms. It does not differentiate between positive and negative. It attracts according to your thoughts, visions, and the words that we use, and does not pay any attention to whether it's something we want or something we don't want. Whatever we're thinking, talking, and vibrating about is what we are attracting. I don't want anybody here to think about pink elephants. What just came up? I'm sure everybody at least saw a picture of an elephant. That's what I'm talking about. When we talk about something we don't want and combine it with a strong emotion such as fear, anger, or hate, that situation is exactly what we draw to ourselves. When we speak about what it is we want in any given situation, for everyone's benefit, including ourselves, and combine it with trust and positive emotions, we draw that circumstance to ourselves. That's why May recommends celebrating with joy even the small occurrences that show up in your life. Remember, our subconscious is that part of our mind that takes our predominant thoughts and beliefs and works tirelessly 24/7, 365 to attract accordingly. That vibration is going out all the time. It does not have a sense of humor, does not discriminate about whether we're being facetious or just venting. It takes our conscious thoughts, words, and emotions verbatim and attracts circumstances and situations to manifest them. That's why sometimes it takes a while for a spiritual practice to take hold and circumstances to change in our life. Changing the software of our conscious thoughts is relatively easy, what we choose to say and how we say it. Changing the code on the hard drive of our subconscious beliefs takes a lot more consistent